Good afternoon, everyone. So, how are you all? I'm good. Thank you. So, we are here for the orientation on sociology optional subject. And before we discuss something on sociology optional subject, I would like to hear from all of you what are your queries and concern, because I have very bad habit of forgetting what is the main students questions are, है ना? So I just don't want to miss it. So to ensure that, I would like to know from you what are your main concern before taking an optional subject, and then we'll start our seminar after your question is over, right? So please feel free to raise your hand and ask question, anything related to optional subject you have in your mind. हाँ जी. Okay, so uh, you're from science background, because litmus test is only there. In sociology, there is no litmus test. So again, you want to know that how to know compatibility with the optional subject. Right? This is what you want to know, how, whether I am compatible with this optional subject, or whether I am comfortable with it or that optional subject or not. Whether this is going to give me the desired result or not. That is a good question. Any other? How to? कैसे मैच करेंगे? ओके ओके ओके, आई थॉट कि जैसे अगर आपने कोई इंजीनियरिंग का ऑप्शन ले लिया तो उसका तो जीएस से कोई मैच ही नहीं रहेगा. वेरी रेयर और वेरी फ्यू टॉपिक्स विल बी देयर. सो स्टडी रेशियो यू आर आस्किंग. Meaning the timing for optional and GS. We'll discuss that shortly. इसके अलावा for optional subject. Okay, okay. मतलब वो ऑप्शनल में ही आ जाएगा, बट ऑप्शनल पेपर 1 and paper 2. The approach. We are going to discuss that separately in our seminar. That is why we are here. But I just wanted to know your personal queries and concern which might be troubling you. कि ये वाली चीज के लिए ही मैं 3 बजे दिन में अपना बिजी शेड्यूल से समय निकाल करके यहाँ पे उपस्थित हुआ हूँ. ओके, कंपैरिजन बिटवीन ऑप्शनल. दो क्यों? मतलब बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट के अदर होंगे कि आप हमें कंपैरिजन करके बताओ. फिलॉसफी में किसी का हो सकता है, पॉलिटिकल साइंस में, है ना. सो कंपैरिजन विद, हाँ उसी को पॉलिटिकल साइंस बोलते हैं, पीएसआईआर कोई, है ना. सो कंपैरिजन विद अदर ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट. इसके अलावा 15 सेंटीमीटर. ओके, सो आई गॉट योर क्वेश्चन. मतलब द, यू कैन से सिलेबस, लेंथ ऑफ सिलेबस या सिलेबस जो भी हम कहें इसको. इसके अलावा ओके, बेसिक नेसेसिटी. इसके अलावा प्लीज बी लाउडर. ओ, क्वालिफिकेशन. यस, सक्सेस रेट या क्वालिफिकेशन रेशियो. इसके अलावा हाँ जी, ओवरलैप. ओके, ये सारे क्वेश्चन तो आप देख चुके होंगे. ओवरलैप विद जीएस. कुछ होता है ना जैसे पर्सनल क्वेरी, लाइक जैसे, हाँ, how to be confident about it. There are so many basically students who are appearing for GS also. How to be confident about it? That is the same answer, by basically preparation. So maybe you want to ask ki, what should we do different in sociology which create a differentiator factor in our answer from other. So how to create this differentiator factor. इसके अलावा प्लीज बी लाउडर. हाँ जी, अपडेट. हाँ, I'll do everything. Don't worry on that part. But I just wanted to know, just to break the ice, ताकि आपका जो inhibition है वो खत्म हो जाए. So your was updation और value addition कैसे करना है optional subject में? हाँ जी. हाँ, कंपैरिजन विद अदर ऑप्शन सब्जेक्ट में आ जाएगा. स्कोरिंग से हमें क्या लेना देना है? हमें तो हमारा रिजल्ट चाहिए कि कितना हमारा सिलेक्शन हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है. इवन इफ आई एम गेटिंग 200 मार्क्स, इफ आई एम गेटिंग ऑल इंडिया रैंक 1, आई वुड नॉट माइंड इट. बट इफ आई एम गेटिंग 400 मार्क्स एंड आई एम नॉट इन द लिस्ट, आई वुड डेफिनेटली माइंड इट. तो रेदर देन स्कोरिंग, स्कोरिंग हम लोग देखेंगे कैसे करना है. बट दिस इज मोस्टली रिलेटेड टू योर परफॉर्मेंस ओनली, परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द और सक्सेस रेट ऑफ द ऑप्शन सब्जेक्ट. हाँ जी, क्विकली. हाँ जी, फॉर ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट टाइमिंग ऑप्शनल, राइट? ओके. कुछ लोग सोच के आए कि हम तो एसी बैठने आए थे, ये तो हमसे ही सवाल पूछने लग गए. सो अगेन इट इज जस्ट टू इंश्योर कि आपका कोई डाउट रह ना जाए. मतलब इफ यू आर स्पेंडिंग सम टाइम, इट इज वेरी प्रीशियस फॉर यू एज वेल एज फॉर मी. सो आई जस्ट डोंट वांट टू लीव एनी डाउट बेसिकली अनएड्रेस. दैट इज व्हाई आई एम डूइंग इट. अदरवाइज द सेमिनार इज गोइंग टू बी स्टार्ट इन अ व्हाइल. हाँ जी, क्विकली. करेक्ट. करेक्ट. हाँ जी. हाँ, वो तो हम सीखेंगे. जैसे आप ये सोचिए कि if you want to achieve something which you have not been basically familiar with, you will try to learn those things which is required for that. Like for example, if I may ask you, if you have a goal of climbing Mount Everest, have you ever climbed Mount Everest before that? No. So you have to make up your stamina, you have to practice a lot. So these kind of things you have to do. So as a bureaucrat, you are coming from diverse background. And one thing which you find common among all bureaucrats are they are extremely hardworking, they are extremely competent, they are extremely diligent about their work, they are extremely, you can say, respectful about the constitutional value. They would not digress from that. So one thing which bind us all is the Constitution of India. So we have to frame our idea in the reference with Constitution. And that is what in sociology there is a specific term for that called as anticipatory socialization. जैसे आप देखते हो कई सारे क्रिकेटर हैं जिनको क्रिकेटर बनना है, बडिंग क्रिकेटर है, दे वांट टू बिकम अ प्रोफेशनल क्रिकेटर. क्या करते हैं? दे स्टार्टेड कॉपिंग द शॉट्स ऑफ द क्रिकेटर्स, दे स्टार्टेड कॉपिंग द बॉलिंग स्टाइल ऑफ दैट क्रिकेटर. तो सोशियोलॉजी में एक अलग टर्म है इसके लिए, एंटिसिपेटरी सोशलाइजेशन. तो वही चीज यहाँ पे एस्पिरेंट्स को भी करना है. विल डिस्कस दैट कि व्हाट वाज योर क्वेश्चन, इफ आई मे राइट इट हियर, दैट हाउ टू मोल्ड अवरसेल्फ as per the requirement of UPSC, right? We are not from that background, so how to mold ourselves. इसके अलावा how to, okay, how to deal with current affair part. So how many of you know that there is a Supreme Court judgment going on related to same-sex marriages? Okay, so this is how you deal, right? This is a paper which is related to gender topic of sociology. We'll discuss in detail. I'm just trying to know कि are you familiar with the things happening around you or not? That is what we are going to cover in sociology as well. इसके अलावा any doubt, any query, quickly? हाँ, हाँ, we'll discuss that. Why to choose next IAS for sociology या जो भी आपका optional subject है. इसके अलावा हाँ जी. When should we start preparation for optional? Okay. इसके अलावा किसी का कोई डाउट इसी में एड्रेस हो गया हो तो दैट इज फाइन, बट कुछ छूट रहा हो इससे, हाउ टू, हाँ वही कंपैटिबिलिटी विद द ऑप्शनल और द सब्जेक्ट, लाइक लाइकनेस और डिसलाइकनेस जो भी है। इसके अलावा हाउ टू डील विथ, वो तो पर्सनल क्वेश्चन हो गया आपका, मतलब हाँ, मतलब that is not why we are here. So again, I'll discuss. Sociology will have answer for that as well. But again, here we are, just let me clear, मतलब कोई गलत information ना चली जाए. Again, here we are for deciding whether sociology is good optional for us or not, or how to choose an optional subject. What should be the criteria? Basic, you can say, criteria for choosing an optional subject in civil services examination. इसके अलावा, I'll take your example only later. Compatibility with the services, again, if there would be no compatibility, optional would not have been there in the examination. Every optional subject, you have to trust UPSC wisdom, is useful for your services, because it is not just memorization of the topic which is prescribed in the syllabus. It is the inner and finer aspects, which is, you can say, logic, reasoning, aptitude related to that particular subject. तो वो सारी चीजें आएंगी, जैसे हाँ जी. No, no. Optional, again, if there is no such criteria in UPSC, कि only PSI or optional subject will be chosen for IFS services, right? I'll answer your question, कि service related compatibility, वैसे ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. Otherwise, UPSC would have just picked up one optional subject, which is public administration, needed for servicing in administration. But services related optional compatibility. इसके अलावा कोई डाउट है? क्विकली आई विल जस्ट स्टार्ट इन 2 minutes. एनी अदर डाउट, एनी अदर क्वेरी विच इज नॉट एड्रेस? हाँ जी, आंसर राइटिंग, ओके. Okay, so I'll answer all these queries and concerns over the course of time of our discussion. It will be already addressed. हाँ जी, okay. There are some online question. I am taking it side by side only. So ओके, सो आप एक काम करेंगे, आप इसको लिख करके मुझे दे देंगे? डू यू हैव पेपर? ओके, देख लो, है ना. सो लेट्स बिगिन आवर discussion. Anyhow, I am not answering it right now. As and when we start discussion, many of your doubts will be clarified, and later on we'll discuss one by one all these queries and concern. So first and foremost, why we are here to attend this seminar? We are here because we want to see ourselves as a civil servant in next year selection list, and for that we are choosing some medium which will help us to find our name in the final list in black ink, not in white ink, which is invisible to other. In black ink, we want our name to be there. And that is why we are here, first thing. So it is important for us to know what are the things which is needed. Now, for optional subject, I'll discuss it shortly, but just to give you a perspective. And we will talk on facts. We will not talk on any kind of interpretation. Interpretation is for you to have. So this is your Civil Services 2021 result, which we have now. Sooner there is Civil Services 2022 result will be declared, and we'll be aware about their marks. But whatever data we have, this is the data. All India rank got 11, All India rank 1 got 1105 marks. I hope you have been familiar with the names. Then second one is All India rank 2, which is who has got the 1050 marks, Ankita Agrawal, and 1045 Gamini Singla. So first is Shruti Sharma. And again, these three people have got this much of marks. Now, again, here, these are the IAS. I am assuming many of you are aspiring to see yourself as an IAS, IPS, or foreign servant, or other service aspirant, but assuming that you all are opting for the IAS post, again, the first rank goes to Shruti Sharma in general category. Now, whichever category you belong to, you can compare or calculate the marks accordingly. For the last candidate in 2021 who got IAS services, again got how much marks? 991. And that person is Ashutosh Kumar from general category. You can get this list by just typing on Google the marks of the selected candidate in civil services. I have done the same, so you can easily verify that. Second is from the EWS section, economically weaker section. Again, 952 was the last, you can say 320 rank was the last, and 952 marks was the marks they have got who got into civil services. Same for OBC, ST and SC. तो जो भी आपकी कैटेगरी हो, आप ये देख सकते हैं कि आपको कितने नंबर चाहिए minimum to get into IAS. Right? Now, let's dissect it here only. Again, general studies paper consists of 1000 marks. There are 4 papers, 250 marks each, GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4. Then optional paper, which consists of 2 papers actually. This is of 250, 250 each, and it is 500 marks. Then you will have the third, which is your essay, which is also of 250 marks. And then there is a personality test, which we popularly called it as interview. It is of 275 marks. So if you calculate all these numbers, it will come around 2025. So these marks 1105 are from 2025. Roughly around 55% marks are there. Right? Now you have to get this much of marks to get All India rank 1. Right? Now I hope you have noted it down or you have seen that score. So हम कितना ला सकते हैं, कितने स्कोर ऑन एन एवरेज वी कैन डू इफ वी वर्क रियली हार्ड. सो कितना लाना है हमें लाना है 1000 के आसपास नंबर, assuming that we are from general category. So again minimum हमें 1000 लाना है. Even if we are not from general category, minimum हमारा टारगेट 1000 मार्क्स लाने का है out of 2025, right? So 2025 में से 1000 नंबर लाना है. अब आप GS में चाहे जितना एफर्ट्स लगा लें, on an average if you see the score of the selected candidate, it's varied from somewhere around 420 to 430. बहुत ज्यादा एक्सेप्शनल चेंजेस नहीं दिखेगा आपको. किसी का 440 आ जाएगा, किसी का 390 आ जाएगा, किसी का 400 आ जाएगा. इसके आसपास ही रिवॉल्व करता है. एसए में ऑन एन एवरेज यू हैव समवेयर अराउंड 130 to 140. These are considered as average and good score for you to see yourself as a civil servant. Interview में 180 to 190 is considered as a good score. Right? Average score revolve around that. Exceptional score is also 230, 240, 250. But this is what average score we have seen. Optional में somewhere around 280 to 300 is the average score. Right? Now, one may wonder that optional weightage is very less, and why should we bother about optional subject selection in first case? Because it is just half of GS. Why don't we focus and channelize our energy to improve our marks in GS and SA? So the problem with this is that even if you do your best, exceptionally best, here increasing your score by 1 marks makes or need you to make lot of efforts, which is very difficult. But optional subject compared to, you can say, GS and SA is low hanging fruit, where prescribed syllabus are there, and if you solve 10-year previous year question, you will find 80 to 90% of the questions are familiar. It is repeated also, verbatim, without any full stop or comma being changed also. So scoring here for 300 would not be something which is very challenging. And if you calculate all of them, you will get somewhere around 1000, which is what our ideal goal should be. So here, in order to see ourselves into civil services, first thing that even if you do your best, you can't exceed beyond a certain marks here. But in optional subject, you will be surprised that you have sky as the limit. You can get 330, you can get 340, you can get 350 also easily in sociology and other optional subject as well. So that is why we have certain kind of confusion related to option, which is why we are here. कि कौन सा ऑप्शन हमें कम से कम इतने मार्क्स दिला दे, right? Now, this is one part of discussion we will going to make. Second part of discussion is, then if every option is giving us this much of marks, again, why do we choose sociology over other option subject? Other option subject can also give us this much of marks. So I have identified approximately 5 to 6 criteria which are there before every candidate to make a call for that optional subject. Now, these criteria are interest in the subject. These criteria include the academic background. I'll discuss one by one all of them, right? So all these criteria we have in our mind, but choosing that criteria for optional selection is not sufficient, right? We'll discuss on that shortly, but let me just give you a brief perspective of optional subject. So these are the 6 criteria which I have identified with discussion with all of you in previous sessions as well. First is the interest in the subject. If I am studying an optional subject, the basic thing I want is, जब 300 ही नंबर लाने हैं ऑप्शन में for getting a selection, so it should be interesting enough. It should be so much generating a curiosity that I should feel studying in the middle of the night also. I should not feel resistant to that optional subject. So I should choose option very carefully based on my choice of interest. अब ये कैसे पता करें, हम लोग अभी थोड़ी देर में discuss करते हैं. Second, many student also influence from the academic background. कि academic background होना चाहिए. जैसे if I have done graduation in mathematics, I should opt for mathematics. If I have done graduation in engineering, I should opt for engineering option subject, or so on and so forth. Third is availability of guidance and material. If I am choosing that optional subject, do I have sufficient guidance or available material in this entire process or not? Fourth is your utility in other section of civil services examination. ऐसा ऑप्शन ना ले लें जिसको पढ़ना is going to be a standalone exercise. I would not like to take that option subject where I am going to devote time which is exclusively for optional subject having no utility in either general studies or essay or personality test, or you can say answer writing or anything. So that is another criteria. Then someone of you has mentioned the length of the syllabus. So that is optional syllabus. How much lengthier it is, how much time it will take for completion. So that is also our criteria. We don't want to make this examination a 5-year plan. हमको 5 वर्षीय योजना नहीं बनाने के आए थे, पूरे बालों के साथ जा रहे हैं बिना बालों के साथ. So that is what we want to ensure कि हमारा जितना जल्दी हो जाए सिलेक्शन हो जाए, right? And last one is performance of optional subject from the last 5-year results. So that is what 6 main criteria for it. Now, why this confusion all about optional subject? Because UPSC examination only give you choice for optional subject. UPSC never gave you choice for general studies. UPSC never gave you choice for whether you would like to write essay or not. वो करना ही है. UPSC never ask you whether you would like to appear for personality test कि हम खुद ही नंबर दे दें. They will basically going to conduct the personality test whether you like it or you don't like it. तो जैसे आप अपने पेरेंट्स नहीं चुन सकते, वैसे ही आप यहाँ पे GS में कोई ट्वीक नहीं कर सकते. There is no criteria on that. But yes, you can choose your friend. And you should choose your friend wisely because that is going to decide your future course of action, what you are going to do in life, right? So, जैसे आप friend choose करते समय बहुत सारी सावधानियां बरतते होंगे, again वैसे ही यहाँ पे भी आपको optional subject में choose करते समय काफी सारी सावधानी की जरूरत है. So we'll discuss all of them one by one. Now, starting from the last, performance of optional subject from the last 5 years. Now, सबसे easy तरीका है इसका. Go to UPSC website, or if you don't want to, you can just type on Google annual report UPSC. ये 3 word आपको टाइप करने हैं. Annual report UPSC. When you read polity में आपको पढ़ाएंगे आगे या आप पढ़ेंगे कि there is Article 323 under which UPSC, which is a constitutional body, is mandated to submit annual report to President of India every year. But since the process is so long, तो इसमें कम से कम 2 साल का लैग होता है, क्योंकि ये रिपोर्ट जो होती है वो 1 अप्रैल से 31 मार्च की होती है, एंड नेचुरली द एग्जामिनेशन प्रोसेस इज सो लॉन्ग कि जनरली ये रिपोर्ट 2 साल पुराना डेटा ही अप्लाई कर पाती है. तो अगर रिपोर्ट 2021 में रिलीज हुई है तो डेटा वुड बी ऑफ 2019, 2022 में रिलीज हुई तो डेटा वुड बी ऑफ 2020, एंड सो ऑन सो फोर्थ. सो इफ यू टाइप दैट अगेन यू विल गेट दिस डेटा. This is the annual report data, which is, you will find that in 2014, number of candidate in examination, mains examination, who appeared from sociology optional subject, out of 1819, 193 were selected, and the success rate or selection ratio of those candidate was 10.6. Again, same goes on 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018 and 2019. These are the latest data we have. And in the last 2 data we have, we got the maximum percentage of selection in comparison to all optional subject. 10% is the success rate. So 100 people appearing in mains, 10 will be definitely there in the final list. Now, I am not saying कि ये लोग interview में appear नहीं हुए. They are not in final list. They are also appeared in the interview also, right? इन लोगों ने मेंस लिखा है, कुछ लोग इंटरव्यू में गए हैं, कुछ लोग सिलेक्ट हुए हैं. So ये इसमें कंसर्न्स है ना. तो 10% is the success rate. Now again, someone of you have asked what is the ratio of success in comparison to other optional subject. Now I have taken only that data because UPSC gave you 48 optional subject choices to make. So 48 का data रखना it's not feasible. So any examination where people have appeared more than 1000 in number in mains examination, उसी का data है. And if you compare this data, you will find, and this is not make-up data, you can yourself verify, that sociology has the highest success ratio in comparison to other optional subject. So data should speak for itself rather than we saying anything, right? So any optional subject you will say, popular, non-popular, this is the ratio of success, right? Now, even if ratio of success is not our basic criteria for making a call, because ultimately, honestly speaking, it is not the optional subject success ratio. It is the candidate who is opting for this optional subject make this success ratio. So it is all goes to the candidate. But one thing you will find common, that the percentage of selection and its fluctuation is not very high. किसी भी ईयर में ऐसा नहीं होगा कि 2% सिलेक्शन हुआ है, और किसी ईयर में ऐसा भी नहीं होगा कि 20% सिलेक्शन हुआ है. Again, it move around on an average of 8 to 9% minimum and 12% maximum. So certain amount of certainty is there in optional subject selection or success rate ratio. कई सारे optional subject में कई बार less than 5% selection rate है, और मान लीजिए उसी साल आपने उसमें एग्जाम दिया है. So you would be the unlucky person that year, not because of your own fault, but because of UPSC criteria of scaling down the things or making the level playing field for everyone. So that is one reason that sociology is one of the popular choice, क्योंकि इसका result जो है most likely goes unaffected, because it is evergreen optional subject and its questions are very generic. So बहुत ज़्यादा fluctuation का scope नहीं होता है in terms of selection. This is one thing, performance of optional subject. Second is our syllabus. Syllabus of sociology, if you compare with other optional subject, because ultimately it is all about the comparison. We are just choosing कि किसका optional subject में कम syllabus है, किसमें ज़्यादा है. So ultimately हम चाहते हैं कि किसमें कम पढ़ना पड़ेगा, right? जिसमें हमें कम पढ़ के ज़्यादा रिटर्न मिल जाए. तो optional subject syllabus of sociology consists of 10 units in paper 1 and 15 units in paper 2, making it 25 units overall. Now, many other optional subjects would have the same kind of units, but ultimately what matters is what we are going to study in those units. Are they making some relevance in a present context or not? So, if you see the syllabus, you will find many of the areas which is given in the syllabus is overlapping with what you are dealing with day-to-day life. Meaning, in sociology, you need not to visualize. You need not to imagine something. Everything is happening in front of you only. There is nothing as surprising element found in sociology optional subject. So first topic is sociology, the discipline, sociology as a science, research, method analysis. I'll discuss it again. Sociological thinkers are there. So these are the 6 thinkers in paper 1. Then stratification. So अगर आपने caste system पढ़ा है या caste system सुना है, it is part of Indian stratification system. Then work and economic life, politics and society, religion and society, system and kinship, social change in modern society. So these are 10 chapters, 10 units in paper 1. Then there are 15 units in paper 2. So again, this is what the syllabus. Syllabus is easily comprehended or completed within the span of 3.5 months. If you are in some classes, if you are joining some coaching institute, right? Minimum or maximum, it would go around 3 to 5 months or 4 months only, not beyond that. No coaching institute would be having more than 4 month duration if they are teaching sociology. तो इसका syllabus ही इतना है कि अगर आप इसको maximum भी खींचेंगे तो 4 महीने से ज़्यादा का नहीं है. We will take 3.5 months for completion. So duration is basically 3.5 months. It is easily doable. इसके बाद when you start studying after completion of the topic, again you might took somewhere around 2 months or some people might take 3 months in the first iteration, and when you complete it, in the next time you would take 1 month and in the second revision, and by the time you are having third revision, you might complete it in 15 days. Now, in UPSC examination, it is very much possible that you got a gap of 5 days between the GS and optional subject. So these 5 days could be used for entire revision of sociology, because by the time you have completed your 3 reading after the classes, again that would be sufficient to complete sociology in 1 week also, from very basic to very much complicated stuff. So this is what the reason for the popularity of sociology, because its syllabus is short and concise and making more relevance in the day-to-day life. So this is one part. Then another question we would have in our mind, are we reading, or if we are reading sociology, is it going to help us in other optional, in other GS or other subjects or not? So what is the utility of this optional subject in general studies? So GS paper 1, अगर आपने syllabus देखा होगा, so in GS paper 1 there is a section entirely dedicated to sociology called as Indian society. So Indian society का जो section है, that is primarily dealing with sociological topic from general studies perspective. So general studies perspective से sociological topic deal किए हुए हैं. इसके अलावा भी sociology में there will be ideologies like capitalism, communism, socialism, and your French Revolution. We start our sociological discussion from French Revolution because sociology is considered as a child of French Revolution. French Revolution हुआ, फ्रांस की सोसाइटी में उथल पुथल मची, उसके कारण sociology का जन्म हुआ. So French Revolution we will read. American Revolution we also refer as a part of technological advancement which brought changes in the society. And then Industrial Revolution. So we discuss this is as technological revolution, American as mostly you can say political revolution, and French Revolution also political but more ideological revolution. So these revolution played a very important role in the birth of sociology, and we will discuss in detail. ये world history related topic है, but we will be covering in sociology also. So that is overlapped area in GS paper 1. Society का सारे 9 topics in paper 1 are from sociology only. You need not to study them separately. Second is GS paper 2. GS paper 2 has topics like pressure group and formal and informal association. So we have a dedicated chapter in politics and society, paper 1 and paper 2, on pressure group and on interest group and other basically related group. Then welfare scheme for the vulnerable section, paper 2 का जो social justice वाला topic है, that is entirely from sociology. That is your mechanism, law, institution, bodies constituted for the protection and betterment of vulnerable section, poverty and developmental issues. Then other topics which is related to civil services role in a democracy. This is a name of a topic in sociology syllabus, politics and society. वो आपके paper 2 के governance part में आता है. That is overlap, right? And many other topics like NGO क्या होते हैं, SHG क्या होते हैं, self-help groups. So these are there in sociology. Then overlap in GS paper 3. So GS paper 3 mostly deal with economics, science and technology and other topics. So इसमें जो land reform वाला topic है, that is exactly taken from the paper 2 topic of sociology, land reforms in India. Then comprehensive development and issues emerging from it. There is a dedicated chapter for development and displacement in paper 2 unit number 15. पूरा उससे ही covered है. Development and spread of extremism. So this is also covered in peasant movement. It is also covered in the, you can say, development related conflicts, right? Then there is industrial policy, impact of liberalization on the economy and all about globalization. We have that in social change in Indian society. तो ये वाला भी आपका topic covered है. Then paper 4. Paper 4 is mostly about the ethics topic, which has some of the moral thinkers and philosophers which are already part of syllabus of sociology. So that we will cover from there, right? So these philosophies we cover by default in sociology to understand various concepts. जैसे utilitarianism we will cover in detail, your philosophy based on, you can say, Socrates, your philosophy is based on Plato, Aristotle, which are also in paper 4, including the Indian philosophers like Buddha, Mahavir and Mahatma Gandhi, B.R. Ambedkar in detail. In fact, Mahatma Gandhi and Ambedkar debate is covered in much depth in sociology and it is not there in other option subject in that detail because it is mostly related to social debates only. And then again your function and dysfunction analysis which will help you to understand many of the ideas associated with ethics. Kantian ethics, Hegelian ethics, all those moral thinkers will be covered. So you can find that majority of the GS paper are covered, overlapped with sociology option subject. सिर्फ sociology के साथ नहीं है, other option subject के साथ ही है, but in sociology you will get the depth of understanding. क्योंकि farmer protest आप GS में भी पढ़ोगे, farmer protest आप sociology में भी पढ़ोगे. Only thing which differentiate from GS is the analysis we make in sociology. We will analyze it from multiple dimensions. I'll explain it shortly. Now essay में भी काफी useful है because if I may tell you, many of the essays, like if I may share the previous essay, this is process of self-discovery has not been technologically outsourced. GH मीड का एक कंसेप्ट है पेपर 1 में सेल्फ के ऊपर. What does he mean by self? And once you understand that concept, you can easily address this. Now, same concept of self was elaborated in this. Your perception of me is reflection of you. My reaction to you is awareness of me. It is also associated with concept given by G.H. Mead self, and we will partially make reference to Sigmund Freud, who has also given the concept of id, ego and superego. तो वो वाला concept भी यहाँ पे use करके you can easily comprehend this essay. Then the real is rational and rational is real. ये पूरा idea we have already discussed in Hegel again and Karl Marx. Because Karl Marx owe a lot of ideas from Hegel, and Hegel was one of the person who has propagated this quotation. Again, philosophy of wantlessness is utopia, while materialism is chimera. Chimera is some unimaginable idea. So sociology में एक theory है, theory of social change, जिसको हम कहते हैं cyclic theory of social change, जिसमें बताया जाता है कि एक culture जो है कई बार materialism की तरफ जाता है, वही कल्चर कई बार स्पिरिचुअलिज्म की तरफ जाता है, बट हमेशा वहां नहीं रहता. इट विल स्विंग लाइक अ पेंडुलम, एंड यहां पे जो कल्चर रहेगा वो यहां पे मिक्स बैग रहेगा दोनों का ही, राइट? जैसे अगर आप ज्यादा स्पिरिचुअल हो जाए तो क्या आपकी सोसाइटी कंटिन्यू करेगी? सो व्हेन इंडियन सोसाइटी वाज मूविंग टू मच इन डायरेक्शन ऑफ स्पिरिचुअलिज्म, देयर वर कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ टेम्पल्स इन खजुराहो, right? But when we are moving toward materialism, now you will find on television every day new gurus are mushrooming, who are teaching us the path of spiritualism. So दोनों ही चीजें रहती हैं, तो हमें दोनों चीजों का बैलेंस यहां पे रखना है इन सोशल चेंज. सो बता के नहीं आए थे. सो उठा लो आराम से बात कर. ओके ओके ओके. सो आपने लिख लिया क्वेश्चन? थैंक यू. ओके. सो इस कॉन्सेप्ट से ये वाली चीज क्लियरली एक्सप्लेन हो जाएगी इन योर एसे. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू ब्रीफ. क्लियर हम लोग और डिटेल में समझेंगे आगे कि कैसे वी आर गोइंग टू डेवलप द स्किल्स टू अप्रोच एन एसे. सेम गोज विथ ये वाला तो कार्ल मार्क्स का स्टेटमेंट ही है कि हिस्ट्री ऑफ क्लास स्ट्रगल is there, history of all societies hitherto, history of class struggle, and his interpretation was that history first repeat itself as a tragedy and then as a joke or a farce. So when first time repetition of history occur, we consider that it is a tragedy, but second time it occur, it is a farce or a joke, right? So this is Karl Marxian interpretation. Then hand that rock the cradle rule the world. It is mostly addressed in sociology from feministic point of view, right? कि जो हाथ झूला झूलाते हैं वही हाथ को वर्ल्ड्स को रूल भी करना चाहिए. दैट इज व्हाट अ कंपैरिजन दे वर ट्राइंग टू मेक. सो देयर आर मेनी थिंग्स लाइक व्हाट इज रिसर्च बट अ ब्लाइंड डेट विद अ नॉलेज. So when we are doing some research, are we very certain that we will end up inventing or discovering something unimaginable? Did Newton knew that when apple was falling on ground and he started researching, he ended up discovering the law of gravitation? No, it is a blind date with the knowledge. So हमारा जो third chapter है syllabus का research method and analysis, we will entirely focus on these ideas only, that what are the different types of research method and how we approach toward the research. That could be easily addressed through these ideas. So again you will find variety of thoughts and idea to answer all this question. Jaise you cannot step twice in the same river. Actually this is an interpretation of Buddha's quote, who has been similar with one of the Greek philosopher quote, that you cannot bathe twice in the same river. So ultimately point of saying is ki all of that is going to have lot of overlap. Now availability of guidance or material. So India's every university has the sociology department. You will find very rare sociology is missing. So you will have the material available from all corners of the country. Again there will be no dearth of material. There is no lack of material resources in sociology at least. तो आपको उसकी तो चिंता नहीं करनी. In fact you have to have this question that how to reduce our content or material, क्योंकि इतना ज्यादा information overload है कि choosing right and relevant is more difficult than choosing the content itself, right? So we will cover that. But जैसा बोला जाता है कि अच्छा डॉक्टर वो होता है जो कम मेडिसिन में आपके पेशेंट को सही कर दे, नहीं ज्यादा दवा ना करनी पड़े, सर्जरी ना करनी पड़े. वैसे ही अच्छा टीचर वो होना चाहिए जो कम बुक्स बता के आपका सिलेक्शन करवा दे. अल्टीमेटली आप सिलेक्शन करवाने आए, आपको सोशियोलॉजिस्ट नहीं बनना है, आपको ज्योग्राफर या फिलोसोफर नहीं बनना है. सो आई यूजुअली प्रिस्क्राइब लिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ बुक्स इफ यू आर स्टडिंग ऑन योर सेल्फ. अगेन फॉर पेपर 1 2 बुक्स विच इज इंपॉर्टेंट. वन इज जॉर्ज रिट्जर सोशियोलॉजिकल थ्योरी. अगर आप लिख रहे हैं तो लिख लीजिए, जॉर्ज रिट्जर Sociological Theory. This is good book. If you want more complicated language, then alternative है Anthony Giddens Sociology. ये या तो ये, right? दोनों नहीं लेना है. So either this or this, right? So this is Sociological Theory and this is sociology book, but Ritzler is comparatively easier in comparison to Anthony Giddens, right? So this is one. Second book for paper 1 only is Harlambus. अब Harlambus की दो वेरिएशन आते हैं. One is abridged version which is popularly called as orange cover in Rajendra Nagar, and this is also written by same person having 580 pages. The second one is bulkier, which is having more than 1200 pages. So here it is also by Harlambas. या तो आप ये ले लीजिए और this one for paper one. Both are Harlambas, same title, themes and perspective. वहाँ भी themes and perspective. Only thing is the coverage. Here coverage is more, here coverage is less, right? So this is for paper one. Obviously, the shorter is easier. So अगर आप start कर रहे हैं, just like someone has asked कि how to know our compatibility with the optional subject, I strongly advise start reading this book. It is 580 pages, worth reading book. Even if you are not opting for sociology option, it will open up your dimensions or analytical basically ideas on many topics. So this is worth reading, this orange cover book, right? Now, for paper 2, one book is sufficient, that is Fundamentals of Sociology by Vidya Bhushan or Sachdev. In case you are not willing to buy that, alternate of that is Society in India by Dr. Ram Ahuja. दोनों में से कोई भी book ले सकते हैं. This is according to your, most of the topics are according to your syllabus, right? Then paper 2 के लिए ही I'm just prescribing you 4 books. Do not consider कि I have prescribed you 8 books. Though I have prescribed you 8 books, ऑटो नहीं लेना है. अगर आप सेल्फ स्टडी कर रहे हैं तो 4 बुक लेना है. और अगर आप नेक्स्ट आईएएस में पढ़ रहे हैं तो आपको कोई बुक नहीं लेना है, because we already provide you only 2 booklets for the entire syllabus. Right? I'll show you shortly. So this is paper 2 second book, which is Handbook of Indian Sociology written by Dr. Veena Das, and again Indian Sociological Thought by B.K. Nagla. So आपको जो भी comfortable लगे reading में, again when you purchase a book, just go to bookstore, just read for 1 or 2 pages there only, even if the bookstore owner is looking you with a very strange face. Again read 1 or 2 pages, and then if the language is more familiar, if you're finding comfortable in reading those content, again then you purchase the book. Don't just purchase the book on recommendation of someone, because they don't know what likes or what you like or how you are grasping the things, right? So always take a call on your own instinct, right? So this is what the books. Now, academic background is also one of the concern of many of the students. So academic background does not have any role to play in choice of your optional subject. If you see the selection of the optional subject by the toppers. So last year, the topper in sociology was Gamini Singla, All India rank 3, right? She was BTech Computer Science and she has opted for Sociology optional subject. Yaksh Chaudhary was my student and he got All India rank 6. Last year he came to address the students also who were joining the batch in Sociology, and again he was BTech from Computer Science. So, sorry, Civil Engineering. So again, he was also not from Sociology background. Similarly, previous year, Jagrati Avasthi, who got All India rank 2, was from Sociology option. She was BTech. Again, Meera K was also BTech, All India rank 6, from Sociology option subject. So, whether you are a person who have studied Sociology earlier or not, it doesn't matter, as long as you are ready and interested to devote your time and energy in this optional subject, you will be selected. Earlier results also suggest the same. So your academic background may play an important role only in the science optional. Like you have never read maths and now you are insisting कि maths ही लूँगा. आपने 10th तक की maths पढ़ी है, उसके बाद आपने maths कभी छुआ नहीं, और फिर आप maths लेते हैं, तो then it is basically question that how you are going to explore this subject. या आपका कॉमर्स बैकग्राउंड नहीं है, आप कॉमर्स इंसिस्ट कर रहे हैं लेने का, तो थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्टी हो सकती है. अदरवाइज ह्यूमैनिटीज ऑप्शन के लिए कोई एकेडमिक बैकग्राउंड की जरूरत नहीं. वी स्टार्ट फ्रॉम वेरी बेसिक्स, राइट? नाउ these are the successful candidates from next IAS, again from the sociology batch in 2021 selection, and then these were 2020 selection from the next IAS. So these were some of the pointers. Now, before I dwell into the sociology part, why sociology, let me quickly answer some of your question. So one is compatibility with the optional subject. The best way, because again, जैसे आपको फ्रेंड्स चूज करना होता है, तो व्हाट आर योर क्राइटेरिया यू विल लुक इनटू दैट सम कॉमन इंटरेस्ट हो। ऐसा ना हो कि आपको आईपीएल पसंद हो और ही इज यू कैन से सपोर्टर ऑफ सॉकर और फुटबॉल, सो कंपैटिबिलिटी नहीं बनेगी। सो अगेन हाउ टू नो दैट? my approach would be that read some basic text in the sense that I have suggested you Harlambas. So it is a book which you can read 580 pages. It is not too much. You can complete it in 1 week also, provided you're reading somewhere around 50 pages per day, 60 pages per day. So आप आराम से इसको एक हफ्ते सवा हफ्ते में खत्म कर लोगे, and you will get a idea whether I am genuinely interested in this option subject or not. दूसरा तरीका है look at the PYQs, previous year questions. सोशियोलॉजी के प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस आप अभी ही देख लीजिए. इफ इट इज मेकिंग सम सेंस टू यू, क्या आप उस क्वेश्चन को समझ पा रहे हैं, स्पेशली पेपर 2 का किसी भी ऑप्शन सब्जेक्ट का पीवाईक्यू जो कि ह्यूमैनिटीज बेस्ड है, आप अप्रोच कर सकते हैं प्रोवाइडेड यू हैव स्टडीड जीएस. तो इससे आपका कंपैटिबिलिटी चेक हो जाएगी रिलेटेड टू ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट. Study ratio timing of optional and GS. So GS generally take entire 1 year for preparation. Option does not take much time, but while doing optional subject classes, you have to make a ratio of 60-40 for at least 4 to 6 months. Option weightage should be higher, but then when prelims examination is approaching, you should go for, you can say, fully toward the general studies, right? Then how to approach paper 1 and paper 2? So I'll discuss that shortly by discussing sociology. Comparison, I have already told you how is the success ratio in comparison with other option subject. I'll briefly compare sociology with anthropology and other option subject as well. Syllabus, I have told you 25 units are there, which is not needing more than 3.5 months. Even if we stretch it beyond our desire, it would not stretch beyond 4 months. The syllabus is concise and short. Again, basic necessity is willingness to choose an option. That's it. Again, if you are willing to choose an option, that is what needed. So basic necessity, I would strongly say interest. Success rate 10% since the last 2-year data we have. Overlap with GS, I have already explained. Then differentiator factor in answer writing, I'll discuss it shortly, these two things. Update and value addition. So sociology is one option subject where you will find daily updation is going on related to the news and related to the topics. Whatever syllabus is prescribed, all are in news on daily basis. So wo aapka, you can say, we will provide before your mains examination. Otherwise, आप करंट अफेयर फॉलो अप करते रहिए, हम लोग क्लास में तो डिस्कस करते ही हैं, बट आई मेड दिस हैबिट दैट in the mains examination, if you analyze previous year question, hardly 10% is the current based question, even lesser than that. So what I do in the month of September, when you are going to appear for your mains, so 25th of August, whenever you are going to write or examination, I will upload a current affair with the topic and where to use it, how to use it. So that would be covered by us only, and classroom में जो हो रहा होगा वो हम लोग classroom के साथ ही डिस्कस करते रहेंगे. But it is not necessary कि आप इसी साल एग्जाम लिख रहे हो. Maybe you are planning for 2025. Then, so we have made a telegram group of all the students. So वहाँ हम वो booklet share कर देते हैं soft copy में. So even if you are appearing for 2025, you can get this booklet from us, right? So current affair booklet. Then timing for optional subject. So option subject classroom timing is 3 to 5:30, and overall it would take 3.5 months. So if we are starting on 15th of June, which is the date we have decided to start sociology option, 3.5 months you can take in completion of your entire option subject. So June में हो रहा है, तो roughly around the end of October आप मान लीजिए मोटा मोटा, if we include all the holidays, क्योंकि इस बीच में काफी सारे holiday आ जाते हैं. So that is what it would basically going to take. Then there is another question, how to mold ourselves. So shortly I'll discuss how to deal with current affair part. So current affair part, primarily in the beginning you will not find it easier to deal with because it is more about interconnectivity. As and when we do the classes, we will cover the current affair aspect also. Why to choose NEXT IAS? So the reason for choosing NEXT IAS would be based on some rational criteria. In next IAS, we will complete the syllabus on time. If there is no undesirable incident occur, we will be in a position like COVID is again, you can say, in news. So if such kind of things are not there, timely completion of syllabus is there. Again, the comparison you made between all the institute who are having the sociology classes and in next IAS, no institute provide you test series. They will charge you 20,000 additional for the test series. We don't do that. Everything you will do in the classes will be included, and test series is also included. So you need not to pay us even a single penny for the test series. Test series is included in the course itself. Because my strong belief is that in any optional subject, you require a rigorous answer writing also, because ultimately nobody is going to test your content. Again, they are going to test whether you are able to use this content as per the requirement of the question or not. And this required rigorous practice. So test series is there. Then what we are doing from this time onwards, which we have tried in last 2 batches also successfully, that after completion of every unit, I will provide you an assignment. Assignment is for your practice, in which I will give you question and provide you the references of answers itself in the booklet कि कहाँ से आपको answer मिलेगा. You have to open your book and write your answer and submit it to me. The purpose of doing this exercise is to understand whether we are able to address the demand of question based on the content we have or not. So ये एक तरह से आपका assignment रहेगा. इसके अलावा after every 5 unit completion, 25 units है, तो 5 units completion के बाद we will organize a class test based on your comfort. If you are very comfortable in answer writing, every 5 unit completion we'll have a class test for sure, and we will share the marks also. Then after completion of everything, we will also have previous year questions with detailed answers. So we will also complete the last 5-year questions discussion which were asked in examination. If you started showing the competence in the beginning, we will discuss in classroom, but there are many questions which require the holistic knowledge of sociology. So what I do and what I approach is that after completion of your syllabus, this would be provided to you as a separate online course of 30 days. ये 30 days का 2.5 hour each day का पूरा सेशन रहेगा जो आपके ऑनलाइन बेसिकली एप्लीकेशन पे अपलोड हो जाएगा, राइट. सो दैट इज प्रीवियस ईयर डिस्कशन. सो अब 5 साल पहले का क्वेश्चन है, तो नेचुरली वी वोंट बिलीव और वी वोंट हैव दिस कि वो आएगा ही, बट फॉर द सेफर साइड वी विल कवर एवरी क्वेश्चन. इसके अलावा टेस्ट सीरीज तो आपको बता ही दिया, देयर विल बी 8 टेस्ट. सो आफ्टर डूइंग दिस, हार्डली देयर इज एनीथिंग लेफ्ट टू सरप्राइज यू इन द एग्जामिनेशन. इसके बाद you would not find any single question appearing outside from the discussion we have in the classes. इतना करने के बाद वैसे भी कुछ बचता नहीं. Since optional subject timing is very less, we could do all these things in the sociology optional subject. So that is one reason for choosing Next IAS. If you find similar thing in other places also, you can always basically feel free to join there as well, right? Ultimately, every teacher want your best, so they will try to provide you the best quality content as per their capacity. So this is what. Then when to start the optional subject? Now, this is very subjective thing, varies from person to person, but my strong belief is that the best time to start the optional subject is in June. Why I'm telling you the reason, because when you join in the October or November batch, we'll start in November also, but in November batch, you will have an excessive pressure for prelims by the time we are reaching toward the completion. And this has been happening to every optional subject, whichever start in the month of November. Why? Because in the month of Feb, you will have extreme pressure to drop out from the classes. So, इट इज बेटर कि आप जून से लेके अक्टूबर में अपना ऑप्शन खत्म करिए, 1 महीना उसको रिवाइज कर लीजिए, एंड देन यू कैन हैव द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन डिस्कशन अटेंडेड ऑनलाइन. इसके अलावा फिर उसके बाद आपको दिसंबर के बाद से यू शुड फोकस ऑन योर प्रीलिम्स, एंड जैसे प्रीलिम्स खत्म हो जाए, आफ्टर योर प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन, नेक्स्ट डे you should revise entire optional subject in 10-15 days and then start appearing in test paper. तो उसमें क्या होता है, एक organized और systematic तरीके से preparation हो जाती है. So that is one criteria for joining in the month of June. Otherwise, it is very subjective. Some students have joined in the month of October and November also, and they have excelled in the examination. So it varies from student to student, but my strong opinion is in the month of June, so that you'll have sufficient time. Then service related optional compatibility. So ultimately, you all are going to be a civil servant and you all are going to serve Indian government, which is constitutionally bound to serve Indian society. So unless and until you understand the Indian society well, again, you will find it difficult to implement any program of government, any scheme of the government. Like I just give you a simple example. In midday meal scheme, Government of India provided sufficient nutrition for a child, which include protein, which include carbohydrate, which include micronutrients also nowadays. But if you are a district collector, if you decide that one of the cheaper nutrient which will provide the one of the cheapest possible nutrient which will provide the student or the young people good nutritional value is egg. So should I implement that in a village where most of the population living belonging to Jain community? Would you do that? So you will understand that it is hurting the religious sentiment of the people living over there, and people are not going to accept even if you force the food to their children. They prefer to drop out from the school rather than consuming the basically egg. So this kind of sensitivity you will understand and develop as a civil servant if you are familiar with the society. And best way to understand any society, not just Indian society, is to study it systematically, and that is what sociology does. Sociology is nothing but a systematic study of society, right? Now, 3 questions which I have said I'll discuss shortly. So one was the approach for optional subject. Then there was other question, comparison with other optional subject, similarity or differences. Then, और कोई सा छूट गया, how to mold ourselves related to the examination per se or related to the optional subject per se. So for optional subject, you need not to worry if you are taking the classes. Again, we will daily do the discussion related to the society topic, which will mold automatically your mindset in the direction which is needed to answer a question in the examination from the sociological point of view, right? Even if you are doing yourself this optional subject, I would strongly advise you to start put on your thinking cap, analyze things from the societal dimension, how this incident would be taken, like same-sex marriages. Now, how many of you think that if you tell your parents that if you're a male, I like a boy, and if you're a female, I like a girl, and they will be happily accepting you? How many of you, please raise your hand? Okay, so you know your parent well. So again, this is something which is what Government of India is also telling to Supreme Court, that some small section started practicing something in some other part of the world which is being imitated in Indian part, and you cannot generalize it on every society. There is a concept in sociology called as westernization. There is a concept in sociology called as westoxication, which is nothing but blind imitation of West. जैसे हमारे यहाँ यूनिवर्सिटी में you can say a big gown is supposed to be wear. Now, foreign universities conduct their convocation generally in the month of their winter sessions. But India में, in the peak of May and June, we will conduct a convocation. The peak temperature is there. और उस time पे आपको वो big gown पहनना है. That is also of big, basically black color, which absorb heat. So you can understand that this is stupidity. Recently, government has amended this practice, but until 150 years, it was continuous. So that is westernization. So something which is liked by one of the group of people may not be appreciated by everyone, right? So just by consideration of few, exception of few, we can't generalize it on everyone. This is one part. This is one part of the argument. Second part of argument could be that this is how change occur. एक चीज समझ में, एक पार्ट ये कह रहा है कि majority do not like it, and that is why we should not opt it or we should not opt for it. Again, this is one part argument. But when you read sociology, you will start appreciating the other side of the discussion also. Other side of discussion will be saying कि ऐसे ही तो change आता है. When someone in 1800 have said that we should abolish sati practice, do you think people would have accepted that? No, someone has to take the initiative of something. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy was popularly credited for this. He raised the voice. He was a single person. Do you think people would come out in his support that time if they are Indian? No, majority of them were opposing Raja Ram Mohan Roy. When he founded Brahma Samaj, the rival group was formed, Dharm Sabha was formed against that we want to continue sati. But that is how change occur. People will bring some idea, other people will hear that idea, practice that idea and found the utility in that idea, they will continue that idea. That is how change will occur. So other side of the discussion will say ki same thing brought the abolition of sati. If we would have punished Raja Ram Mohan Roy at that time just by saying ki majority do not like it, even today women would have been burning in the society. So that is something which is the other side is forcing upon कि change हमेशा small areas या small group of people से ही आता है. Change will not occur automatically in large section. So there is a topic in paper 2 called as little tradition and great tradition. Some practices of small group of people got universalized and part of great tradition. कुछ छोटे number of people or kuch less number of people started doing something and it instantly become viral and everyone started doing that. So that is part of great tradition. Earlier it was familiar to little tradition only. Kuch badi number of people will practice something and it become part of little tradition. So it is called as, you can say, parochialization. So ये हम लोग पढ़ेंगे. तो ये सारी चीजें आप अपने आप mold kar payenge when you are attending the discussion. Even if you are not, start analyzing things from multiple dimension, right? Now, which one? I'll discuss that. Acha, overlap with G's. How to mold? Differentiator factor, yes. So 3 questions which I am going to discuss: approach, other optional subject and differentiator factor, right? Now there are some online students who have also asked this question. The study resources which I have already answered. Difficulty in mugging up. So in sociology, if you understand the concept, cramming or mugging is very less compared to other subjects, right? Again, but if you are not very good at cramming or mugging up things, you would face difficulty only in answer writing when you have to complete the paper in 3 hours. In UPSC, आपको 180 मिनट में कम से कम 4000 words लिखने हैं. And if you start thinking that time, analyzing that time, it would be very difficult unless and until you have crammed up the thing. So mugging is essential part of your civil services preparation. And a bureaucrat is supposed to have a very strong memory. If you meet a bureaucrat, you will notice that they will recall you even if you are meeting them after 1 week or 1 month or even sometime after 1 year because of their very strong memory. And that is what needed also, because I might have given this example in GS batch as well, that suppose you become finance secretary and you are drafting a budget and then after budget process, there is a press conference. Again, if some journalist asks some difficult question to the minister and minister is unable to answer that, minister look at you being a finance secretary and you look back at minister कि मुझसे क्या पूछ रही हो, आपने बनाया था budget. So that is where you will get the transfer order next day only, right? Because bureaucrats are supposed to be commanding the information, so they should have a strong memory. So mugging up is important, but in sociology, without cramming or mugging, because it is mostly logical optional subject, which is mostly analytical and interpretation based, even if you do not memorize single line, again, you end up, I can assure you, if you attend the classes, you end up getting 250 marks. Because this optional subject is one where nothing is black and white. कोई सही गलत नहीं है इसमें. It is all about interpretation, right? So, just to give you an example, there is a concept in sociology called as symbolic interactionism. Symbolic interactionism says we interact through symbols. हम लोग symbols के through interpret करते हैं और interact करते हैं. जैसे red light हुई, हमने अपना vehicle stop कर दिया. किसी ने कुछ कहा आपसे? नहीं, but फिर भी आपने अपना vehicle stop कर दिया. That is what a interaction you and this device has made, that when device turn red, you have to stop your vehicle. And when device turn green, you have to start your vehicle and move on. right? Similarly, we use symbols all the time. Like some of you getting bored, so you want to leave the class, but ऐसे कैसे जाएं? So you look at the adjacent person, you gave him some signal, right? And he also accepted this signal, and then both stand up and leave the class. So this is what symbolic interactionism is. इसको हमें interpret करना होता है. And this is a method called as method of interpretation, that what is the meaning of symbol. Like exactly if I give you the example, if you see a candle which is there in the dark room, which is adjacent to your accommodation. Now, what are the possible interpretation of this? A candle is lightened in your neighboring room or in your neighboring building room, and you are watching it from distance. So what is the interpretation? One interpretation is there is a power cut. So summers are there, we will see this kind of frequent power cuts. इसके अलावा कैंडल लाइट डिनर हो सकता है. इसके अलावा ब्लैक मैजिक हो सकता है. इसके अलावा एक सेकेंड, हाँ अपने आप तो नहीं जलता अभी तक, तो आपने सही इंटरप्रेट किया. देयर माइट बी समवन, तो यू माइट नोटिस दैट दिस room was vacant since 6 months, now someone is there, so you have someone to watch. So बर्ड वॉचिंग की आपकी हॉबी इंटरप्रेट हो सकती है यहाँ पे. सो देर इज वन. इसके अलावा वेरी गुड, यहाँ पे हो सकता है कोई रिलीजियस सेरेमनी हो रही हो. Right, black magic is also kind of ceremony only. So यहाँ पे एक religious ceremony. So one thing would be interpreted in so many ways. आपके पास क्या information थी? One, which is you can say the candle is there. So this is what called as interpretation you will learn in sociology. जैसे there is a statement given by Rabindranath Tagore. Truth is one, facts are many. क्या मतलब हुआ इसका? Truth is one, facts are many. Correct. So facts can be interpreted by every person in their convenient way. British considered that they have blessed India by their 150-year rule, by introduction of railway, by introduction of bureaucracy, by introduction of judiciary, by introduction of rule of law, by introduction of constitution. But we interpret the same fact of British rule as a kind of colonialism and imperialism. So are you following that truth ये है कि British rule India, but the facts are many related to this, कि they were ruling us by exploiting us, they were saying they were blessing us and all that, right? So these were something. Now, how to manage with GS? Most of the topic in sociology is overlap with GS, so it would be finding that lot of the things are overlap, so you not face much difficulty. Online and offline doesn't make any difference. I'll take up the queries of online student in the same manner, so nothing to worry if you are not in Delhi. But if you are in Delhi, I would suggest कि if commutation time is not long, prefer offline. अगर ऑनलाइन भी कर रहे हैं तो देयर वुड बी नॉट मच गैप. देन overlap with other GS, I have already answered. Confused between public administration or sociology. Again, sociology is mostly about, now 5 more minutes I'll take to give you a brief perspective of sociology. What is sociology? Again, any subject जो भी आप पढ़ रहे हो उसके पीछे अगर ये word लग जाए, logy, that is derived from Greek word logos, इसका मतलब होता है सिस्टमैटिक स्टडी. सो अगर मैं बोल रहा हूं बेसिकली, अगर मैं बोल रहा हूं एंथ्रोपोलॉजी, सो एंथ्रो का मतलब होता है प्रिमिटिव मैन, लोगस का मतलब होता है सिस्टमैटिक स्टडी. सो सिस्टमैटिक स्टडी ऑफ प्रिमिटिव मैन इज एंथ्रोपोलॉजी. सिस्टमैटिक स्टडी ऑफ सोशियस, सोशियस इज डिराइव, सॉरी, सोशियो इज डिराइव फ्रॉम सोशियस एंड इट इज मोस्टली associated with society. So sociology is, in one line if I have to define, is systematic study of society. Now, society consists of group of people living in a defined territorial area, having common culture and psychic unity together. So, जो भी आपके समाज में हो रहा है, that is going to be part of sociology. And that is why there is one famous sociologist who call sociology as queen of all science. His name was Auguste Comte, who is considered as the founder of sociology discipline. So Auguste Comte has said that as and when we are getting closer to the society or the people, we are basically moving toward sociology. And sociology is above all the sciences. So it is a science of society also. So anything occurring in society is by default becoming a subject matter of sociology. So if I may ask you 5 things, if you read the topic associated with poverty and that affects you, if you read the topic associated with why democracy is not there in entire Middle East countries, only one country have democracy and that is Israel. Entire Middle East is either monarchy or dictatorship. So that is where sociology will help you to understand that majority of the population are not having a democratic values followed, and that is very difficult to implement democracy at the political level in these societies. Similarly, you will find questions like why most of the people who become prosperous have lesser number of children, why you have more number of children found among poor, why only poor reproduce more and rich reproduce less. तो आप किसी रिच के घर में जाएंगे, you will find 1 or 2 child are there. But if you enter into a slum, you might find the children are coming out from the house giving you impression that you are in a school. But then you realize कि ये घर ही है, right? So ऐसा क्यों है? So these kinds of questions, if you are interested to know or study about, then sociology is one subject for all of you, right? So if you are interested in the things happening in the society, that will help you to have the interest in sociology automatically. एक तो ये चीज है. दूसरा, I have also said कि comparison करना है. So एंथ्रोपोलॉजी को सोशियोलॉजी की सिस्टर बोला गया by an anthropologist only because of many similarity. So PubAd और sociology में जिनको confusion है, public administration is primarily dealing with administrative part. तो उसमें सारे topic administration related होंगे कि how to administer a district, how to administer a country, and what are the rules and the laws which is helpful in governing a country or administering a country. Here you would not find that. Rather, here you would find various theories which are associated with study of the society, which will help you to understand your own society better. You will come out to be a better analytical and critically thinking person after going through so many theories. क्योंकि इसमें हर point of view cover होता है. There are primarily 10 ideology or perspective we are going to study in sociology, and in this perspective say you would able to do every possible question from multiple dimensions. So it will be very helpful in your answer writing, even in your GS essay along with your optional subject, which possibly other option subject like PubAd might not help. I'm not very familiar with detailed answer writing approach of public administration, but whatever I know, I found that sociology is in much better position to help you develop the answer writing skill from the multiple dimension, right? तो एक तो ये चीज हो गई. दूसरा anthropology. So in anthropology again it is, as I might said, that it is derived from anthros. So anthro का मतलब होता है primitive man. So primarily anthropology study the primitive society which is in modern form represented by tribal groups. So entire anthropology is all about the study of the tribal group. No doubt there is some current based anthropology also which is studying various modern societies also, but their primary focus is on studying primitive society in detail. So if you have some inclination toward the biological studies, like they went on to study the tribal group, how their physical appearance are, how their dental structures are, how their molar and premolar teeth types are. So this kind of detailed study, if you're interested about the tribal, so anthropology should be a good choice for you. But society is very generic. it also study tribal but not in detail. जैसे अगर मैं आपको example दूं, one sociologist went to study a tribe, so he will collect how tribal celebrate festival, how are tribal worshipping, what is the religion they follow, what is their overall language and culture. If an anthropologist went to study the same tribe, he will not only study all these things, but he will also detailed, basically he will involve in detailed study of how the physical appearance of tribal, which race he belongs to, how they are making the cultural dances में steps कितनी हैं, dress पहन रहे हैं तो उसमें color कौन सा use कर रहे हैं, that detailed study only of tribe. But that detailed study does not happen in sociology. So sociology is very general in that context, right? Now, again, sociology compared, मतलब एंथ्रोपोलॉजी भी स्टैटिक है, दोनों मोर और लेस सेम ही है, बट इन प्रेजेंट टाइम्स यू विल फाइंड दैट करंट एस्पेक्ट आर आस्क इन बोथ सोशियोलॉजी एंड एंथ्रोपोलॉजी. स्टैटिक वाले में आपका, मुझे जो जानकारी है कि सोशियोलॉजी के प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन में देयर इज नो एज सच करंट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन. आउट ऑफ a paper which consists of somewhere around 26 to 27 question you have to attempt, उसमें से आपके एक या दो क्वेश्चन होंगे hardly which is current based, mostly it is traditional, right? So should we study NCERT of 11th and 12th? Again, problem is that NCERT is written by someone who is not very keen in explaining the concept in simple term. So after reading NCERT, you probably would be the first person not to advise anyone to read NCERT, right? So what I have done, कि whenever we start the classes, 1 week I devote exclusively for 11th and 12th grade NCERT. So हम लोग NCERT simple form में पढ़ते हैं, not in that detail or complicated form which is covered in the booklet. So no need to read NCERT, right? Now, I have already explained comparison with other option subject, differentiator factor. So सारे लोग अगर एक ही चीज पढ़ रहे हैं, so how to make your answer different? So in our sociology class, we will have an answer writing session. Answer writing session हम लोग first unit के बाद करेंगे, but in detail it will be covered after 4th unit. Why only 4th unit? Because 4th unit consists of thinkers. After studying thinker, we will have a dedicated section of answer writing. Before that, you will get an assignment which is having a straightforward question, which is not precisely an answer writing kind of thing. इसमें we will learn how to write an answer and how to use the current aspect in your answer with some of the presentation part. So आप ऐसे समझिए कि if two people are making the same dish, what should be the differentiator factor? So the presentation part, right? अगर एक ही डिश बनाई उन्होंने तो टेस्ट भी सेम है मान लीजिए, तो फिर आप कैसे उसको डिफरेंशिएट करेंगे? सो हाउ दे हैव प्रेजेंटेड द डिश बिफोर यू. सो दैट इज ऑल्सो एन इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ आंसर राइटिंग. सो आंसर राइटिंग वी विल हैव अ डिटेल कवरेज इन आवर क्लासेस, बट ओनली आफ्टर यूनिट नंबर 4, ताकि आप यूनिट नंबर 5 के बाद जो आपका फर्स्ट क्लास टेस्ट होगा, यू विल एबल टू इंप्लीमेंट दैट, राइट? And that is the only way where you will create a differentiator factor. And it is all about the skill set, right? Unless and until you have command over the topic, you would not able to do any kind of differentiator factor by innovation. आप innovation कर ही नहीं पाओगे. Why? Because आपके basic concept clear नहीं है. So हम लोग पहले क्या करेंगे, हम लोग स्टेप बाय स्टेप ही जाएंगे. सो फर्स्ट विल हैव अ सफिशिएंट कमांड ओवर द टॉपिक्स व्हिच आर गिवन अंटिल यूनिट नंबर 5. उसके बाद वी विल स्विच टुवर्ड द आंसर राइटिंग सेशन इन विच वी विल लर्न हाउ टू अप्रोच एन आंसर एंड व्हाट आर द डिमांड्स ऑफ एन आंसर. इसमें किस तरह से डिफरेंशिएटर क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, बाय इंट्रोड्यूसिंग डायग्राम्स, बाय इंट्रोड्यूसिंग फ्लो चार्ट्स एंड बाय इंट्रोड्यूसिंग some of the techniques which will help us to differentiate our answer. Even if you are not using that, two people who are writing sociology answer for the same question cannot be same. And you can believe me more when I show you the assignment of the student. When you will write your assignment, you will notice that one question you have written in totally different perspective, other person has written totally in different perspective. But what matters the most is is it relevant to the demand of the question or not? And two answers written in totally different perspective can be relevant in sociology. So that is what going to be the main differentiator factor. So this is about everything which you need to know before choosing an optional subject. इसके बावजूद अगर कोई आपका डाउट रह गया है तो feel free to ask. Otherwise, we are good to wind up the session, and we will, if you like, we will meet again in some other session related to the same orientation part. But this was just an introductory session on how you should choose an optional subject, right? Now, if any one of you are interested to look at the booklet, I have arranged that booklet for you. You can just basically take that booklet for reading or reference. These are only two booklets. One booklet is 300 pages, other booklet is 250 pages. इतना ही पढ़ना है paper 1 और paper 2 में for sociology. And if you read that book, इसके अलावा we'll have a PYQ booklet and a dictionary for additional reference. इसके बाहर से last 5 year में अभी तक not a single question has been asked from the topic. So that is, you can refer and vouch yourself, right? So thank you everyone. This is all from my side. And if you have any query, I am here in the staff room. We are winding up the session. I am just taking up the online doubts. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and have a great day, guys. Noted.